Right. We are live.
Okay, so
Pujara.
we are, we are 3 minutes delayed, and it's no one's fault. Basically, all of us had come, but we kept chatting between ourselves about several things. We were chatting about Asia Cup, and who India's jersey will it have the same name or the same brand or the company. We kept chatting about what impact is it having worldwide. So the delay is you have our apologies. You have our apologies, because all of us were there from 1658, which is 4:58, but we kept chatting for about 5 minutes. Coming to the show today, it's a pure Cheteshwar Pujara celebration show. The moment it was announced, all four of us, Rohit Juglan also, who should be part of the show, all of us, and our entire group, Atreo and others who have written already, everyone, Bharat is writing, Shomik is writing, I have written, Shubhan is putting together a tribute. So all of us decided that Cheteshwar Pujara deserves it, and that's what we are going to do over the next 40 odd minutes. Let me start with first comments. We also have a couple of Cheteshwar Pujara clips which we will play for you, celebrating an outstanding career of 103 test matches. Why don't I start with you, Shubhan? When you look back at Cheteshwar Pujara, and let's make it anecdotal, each one of us have covered him, each one of us have our stories of Pujara. Your story of Pujara, personal anecdote or a match or something that you remember that you want to share before I go to Shomik and Bharat.
I think we have to keep Cheteshwar Pujara was all about the Sydney knock of the BGT. I mean, taking body blows, grinding it out, helping India draw that match. I think it was a typical it that particular knock exemplifies what Cheteshwar Pujara is. Extremely humble, extremely a genuine gentleman. Whenever you talk, he will listen to you. He will give you time. Very very, as we say in Bangla, Bhodro lok. He's a typical Bhodro lok. So very good person. Very, if you talk to him, you will genuinely see in his eye and see, oh, say no. He's a genuine guy. He does not have any malice in him. So that Sydney knock, I think, will be the top. He has played some memorable test knocks, but that Sydney knock, taking body blows, helping India draw out that match, I think that has to be at the top of Pujara's knock. But overall, I think he's a genuine gentleman, and a great servant of Indian cricket. If I have to put it in the words, he has to be the last of the test stars that we can call. I don't see we will have Pujara types of players going forward. We will have some good test players who will have their own styles, but this Cheteshwar Pujara template, I think we have seen the last of it.
I absolutely agree. Shomik, Pujara is one in a generation. I mean, you will not see the likes of Pujara again.
Absolutely. And I was talking to his teammates, his Saurashtra teammates, basically Jaydev Shah, Sheldon Jackson. And they were coming up with some nice anecdotes. We'll come up with a special story, which we can confirm it to our readers tomorrow on Pujara through the lens of his teammates. And it is going to be a special story. But especially Sheldon Jackson was telling me how Pujara is completely different in the dressing room. I mean, he would crack a joke. I mean, he would be very choppy, stuff like that. But it is his ability to switch on and switch off. Sheldon told me, see, I scored a mountain of runs in domestic cricket, but I still didn't get a chance, get my chance to play Test cricket. And here is a man who played 100 tests. I mean, it's a humongous. Just playing just one test is special. Playing 100 tests, it's a humongous achievement. And one of the reasons why, it's his ability to switch on and switch off. The way he did that, it was an example for all of us. Jaydev Shah said, I want Pujara to come back to Indian cricket in a different capacity because Indian cricket needs him. Maybe at the National Cricket Academy going ahead, the way VVS is now doing, maybe as VVS's successor in the future, in maybe as a cricket administrator or a coach, but Indian cricket needs Pujara. Pujara is the last of his kind in a changing Indian cricket ecosystem. You will never get another Cheteshwar Pujara. I mean, there have been several fantastic knocks. I'm a first-hand witness of his 153 at Joburg, but to me, that 56, 55, or 56, I might be wrong offhand, but that at that Gabba, taking all the blows, that will be at right at the top. That would be the top of the tree. And I totally agree with Ravi Bhai. He said that during my time as coach, we have been the number one team, World Test team for 5 years, and Pujara was instrumental in that.
Bharat?
Yes, Pujara, by first impression, I think one has to go far back. Maybe I remember one Ranji Trophy game 17 years ago. Odisha were taking on Saurashtra at Rajkot, the famous Rajkot ground. And Cheteshwar Pujara was on 290s. I just only remember that little bit of highlights package. And I think it was Pritak Das of Odisha who beat him on the outside edge with him trying to play square cut. Maybe his bottom hand took over there, whatever it was. And it seemed like Cheteshwar Pujara was a little bit nervy to me, but his concentration powers didn't waver. And next ball, he flicked it to a boundary and he scored a 4 and got to his triple hundred. And that really said something about Pujara's concentration prowess to me, because even right through the 290s, even when he was beaten, he was able to somehow forget or erase the previous outcome and get through that inning. So that has held him in good stead. Obviously, before that, also 2 years ago, 2 years before that, he had scored 129 or 146 balls against England under 19, the semi-final of the under 19 World Cup. But I think this innings told me something about him. Obviously, I don't have to say much about his knocks at MCG, SCG, Gabba. He's always known to be someone who's been a thorn in the flesh of the Australian team, right through even the 2018-19 series, not just the 2020-21 series at the Gabba and Sydney. Lest we forget that. And yes, as a Karnataka cricket fan, I'm just saying it in a light-hearted tone. I might hold a small grudge against him because in the Karnataka Saurashtra game, Ranji Trophy semi-final, he was not given out twice, and he took Saurashtra to a victory. But yes, he's a great player of Spain, Saban, very good defensive player against pace bowling. Even in South Africa, scored a 143, though he had his share of problems in New Zealand, South Africa, and England, but still, he has that 100 Southampton, is that 100 the Wanderers. But I would definitely remember him for his grit, for him being a kind of his unwavering concentration prowess, and also as someone who's been a great player of spin, especially at his peak, especially during that test series against England in 2012-13, when he scored that 100-129 at the Wankhede Stadium. These are the memories that I will keep reminiscing.
2-3 stories from me. One, the real Pujara, and if you have to understand Cheteshwar, you speak to Arvind Pujara. And that's where the best kind of stories come. And Arvind Pujara, and I've spoken to Arvind Pujara multiple times on Cheteshwar, and one of my favorites, very, perhaps the wrong word, very touching story, very heart-rending story, is when Cheteshwar actually called his father, and he was early teens, and he said, and he actually called his mom, Rima Pujara, and had a chat, and he was coming back to Rajkot. And when he came back to Rajkot, the plan was his father would be there at the bus station to pick him, and he will go home. When he landed, and he had sort of spoken to his mom, and that was the plan. When he landed at the bus station, his father was not there. So he was like wondering what happened. People who had gone to pick him up, they didn't say much. That was actually the last time he had spoken to his mom. His mom had passed away when he was in commute and from a heart attack. His father did not tell him so that he doesn't get upset. When he came home, he did not see his mother. His father went and told him that this is what had happened. And trust me, on day 5, he was actually in Mumbai playing a game. He got a 0. and I'm saying it, he actually did not score because heart, mind, nothing was there. But the fact is, he turned up. He turned up on the fifth day after his mother had died, and he had not seen it. This is how exactly it happened. And he turned up to play that game for his team in Mumbai. After Australia, Bharat referred to 2018. That was the only interview he had done in that hotel in Sydney. And Ravi, Bharat, Cheteshwar, Ajinkya, all of them, and I was doing one after the other. And then 21, that long interview that I had done for Mission Domination. You should have seen what he was saying. He said, and Shubhan referred to that Gabba innings, and so did Shomik. He said on one side the wicket had opened up, so the ball was pitching and boom, boom. And you knew that you were exposing your body to anything. Anything could have happened, hand, head, wherever. He said, I had two choices before me. One, to keep getting hit, and two, to get out. And I decided my body can take any number of blows, I don't care. India has to be saved. India has to win the game. And if you see, there are photographs of him. It's totally red here. He showed me. When he went home, his father said his body was entirely black, 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 black. He said, my son is a tough cookie. These are things I don't think anyone in this current generation will actually appreciate also. But Cheteshwar Pujara, as Shubhan very rightly said, I think Josh Hazelwood's tweet is the best. Josh Hazelwood one time told me that, I used to go to sleep and much like Shane Warne for Tendulkar have this nightmare, Arey bhai, tomorrow morning I will wake up again and start bowling to Pujara and he will not get out. And I will keep bowling, and Pujara will not get out. So Josh Hazelwood has tweeted that he is his biggest ever competitor. Unbelievable batter. And there are many, many, many such stories which we can recount. But Shubhan, when we think back, Bharat, your screen has, for example, gotten dark for whatever reason. I don't know what happened. Shubhan, just dekhene ekbar jodi, otherwise Bharat has to rejoin. Coming back to you, Shubhan, when you think of Cheteshwar Pujara and the likes of Cheteshwar Pujara, let me ask you the tricky one. Do you think he had cricket left? Do you think he could have been given a little more opportunity? Do you think he could have been, and I'm referring to a Virat Kohli and a Rohit Sharma? If India could carry on with a Virat Kohli and a Rohit Sharma, why not a Cheteshwar Pujara? What could he have been given when he was dropped, for example, after that South Africa series, that partnership between Rahane and Pujara, both got 50s. So when I see Virat's career for the last 4 years or 3 years and his test cricket, and he's still part of it till he retired, does Pujara or did Pujara kind of merit a little bit more opportunity or anything like that? Or you think, no, he has been given his due and it was the perfect call? Shubhan?
Bhuriagar, in his last 10 or 12 innings, he had scored only one half century. And at that time, the transition plan was such that let's get done with one by one. If you remove all the five senior heads of the team, then suddenly you will see, oh, everyone is inexperienced in that batting unit or bowling unit. So firstly it was Pujara and Rahane. Then we slowly saw Ishan, Umesh, Shami, they were removed. Now we saw Rohit and Virat also from the test format getting removed. So I think it was a phase by phase transition plan which had to come at one point. Yes, everyone can debate that they could have played at least one or two series more, but that Australia home series, his last one, was a very poor one. He only scored 59 in Indore. That was his only half century. Otherwise, his scores were on the lower side, 0, 7, 6, 31, 1. So his form was not the best. And when in Indian cricket your form is not the best, you are at the fag end of your career. You will suddenly see tens and hundreds of players knocking at the back of the door. So uh, every cycle has its own time. I think we have enjoyed Pujara's time a lot. We all talked about Gaba and other knocks, but I think if you remember that knock against Ranganahera, Sri Lanka 2013, he carried the bat while opening. I think it was one of his finest knocks. He carried the bat while opening. He has not opened a lot for India, but he has done it a few times. So he has never shied away from taking up tough challenges. Sri Lanka at that time, Ranganairat was at the peak of his prowess. He was arguably the number one spinner at that point. But to take him down, carry the bat, help India win that match. I think India won that match, if I'm not wrong. So he has contributed the best, and now I think we all saw him during the England tour. He was excellent with his commentary, with his analysis. He was doing multiple, not only Sony, but I think he was doing multiple organizations, even in England also. He was excellent with his, like we talk about Dinesh Karthik taking up commentary like a fish in water. I think Pujara with his analysis. I asked him after the Headingley. Uh, I think it was the last day of the Headingley test. I said, Puji bhai, इतना drop हो रहा है कैचेस, क्या इसका रीजन क्या है, वो कर्व है, एलिवेशन है, क्या है यहाँ पे? तो he explained me beautifully. He stood in the slip stance. He was saying कि जब तुम यहाँ पे बॉल एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हो, यहाँ पे सडनली बॉल जब तक तुम्हारे पास आएगा देखोगे यहाँ पे आ रहा है. So you are dropping that catch, but there is a high chance that you get hit on your face. So you have to be very careful and practice experience in heading late is one of the toughest ground to take catches. Where when there was a lot of criticism around Yashasvi Jaiswal and his catching. I think Pujara explained it very well. Uh, I saw some of his analysis clips during that tour. The way he was explaining Shubman Gill's change in technique, some of the minor tweaks, Yashasvi Jaiswal. I think it was brilliant. He has a very dry humor. I kept on poking him during the entire series whenever he used to come after completing his commentary stint. And during the England tour, we had this thing that before lunch, before tea, before end of the day's play, we used to lose. India used to lose one wicket. So every time I met him during that phase, Pujara, I said him, Puji bhai, kya आपने out करवा दिया? so so he used to have fun. He used to have fun with me. So he has a very dry humor. He's not your open extrovert guy, but very fun guy. When he opens up to you, he talks. He breathes cricket. And I was going through, like, people are giving tributes on social media. I was going through a clip during the book launch of his wife's book. Rohit Sharma was there. So Rohit Sharma was telling everyone that छोटे में जब हम लोग जाते थे खेलने तो मम्मी पूछती थी, अरे 3-4 दिन हो गया तू जाता, एक दिखता एक तरफ एक टाइप का है, जब जाता है, जब आता है तो तेरा चेहरा उतरा हुआ रहता है, अलग टाइप का ही दिखता है. तो क्या बैटिंग वैटिंग क्या हो रहा है, कुछ हो रहा है क्या, कि चेहरा ही बिल्कुल रंग बदल जा रहा है, क्या हो जा रहा है? रोहित ने बोला, मम्मी क्या करूं, एक बैट्समैन है चेतेश्वर पुजारा नाम का, 3 दिन से बैटिंग कर रहा था वो. तो दैट वाज चेतेश्वर पुजारा फॉर यू.
Absolutely. And Shomik, I'll ask you this. And I remember Manas Labuschagn's debut match in Australia. And he had come to the press conference. So somebody asked him, I don't know who, one of us only, Ashok, I think, he was with me. So he said, do you idolize anyone? Do you want to do something? He said, all I can say is I want to bat like Pujara. And I absolutely remember Manas right in front that I want to bat like, never get out. Keep batting, keep batting, keep batting. I'll tell you one story before Shomik takes over. So 54 balls, first run. That incredible Wanderers pitch, which could have killed people. That was another innings. And I said, before even I said, I said Wanderers, and he said, don't ask me about 54 balls. I can tell you I was trying to score runs of every ball I wasn't able to. It is not as if I deliberately batted for 53 balls without scoring. I tried to score runs, I did not. Finally, when I did manage to score runs, my teammates also had a smile on their face. But the fact is, I told myself I will not get out for India. Whatever happens, I will not get frustrated. And that was Pujara. But Shomik, when I think of the Border Gavaskar Trophy, do you think Cheteshwar could have made a difference last December? India did not have a number three. Rohit was not there really, not, number three position. Could Pujara have made a difference? If you think 20, 21 and 18, his record against Australia, should India have punted with Pujara in Australia?
I mean, he at least could have owned the Australian bowlers down. I mean, a reason why Gautam Gambhir wanted Pujara in the team for the Australia too. it is a different story that the chairman of selector was of the view that now we are starting, we have moved on from the likes of Pujara and Ajinkya Rahane, stuff like that, and sooner rather than later we will move on from the likes of Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. That is the reason. But he would have won the. But then again, how many runs he would have scored, I don't know, because Shubhan very rightly mentioned that home series against Australia, he was getting out. He could have played the likes of Prime Pujara, could have played the likes of Kunaman and others blindfolded, but he was getting out to them for fun. And also, thank you, Shubhan, for reminding me of that, of his innings against Rangana Herat. I was there. I was, and that was a time when his position was a bit vulnerable in the playing 11. Every now and then, as because Cheteshwar Pujara didn't carry that stardust and millions of followers on his social media handles, maybe that was the reason why every time, every now and then, his position would become vulnerable. Sometimes his own teammates will question at press conferences, will question his intent, saying that he is batting a little too slow. His own, it will come from one of his own teammates. But then again, Pujara bin Pujara, he let his bat do the talking. It's not about, he will never come up with any, I mean, anything. I mean, he will never respond to criticism verbally. He will let his bat do the talking, and he always do that. He always did that. So Pujara, I mean, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure, given that India had a void at number 3 in Australia, he probably could have owned the bowlers down. And it was a different challenge, mind you, from playing England against England, because English bowling is not, I mean, if you compare the Australian fast bowling attack with the English bowling, with England's bowling, it is chalk and cheese. You cannot even compare. It is absolutely chalk and cheese. England, except Ben Stokes, doesn't have a single world-class bowler in their rank. And here, it is a proliferation of world-class bowlers. You name them. Even the fourth choice, I mean, Scotty Boland would bowl like a computer. He would bowl like a computer. You need someone, you needed someone with Pujara's discipline. If not Pujara, someone with Pujara's discipline. So that is the case. But that is water under the bridge now. That is what a transition has begun in Indian cricket in earnest. We have a new number 3, and he has been, I mean, India have done so very well in England. Like Pujara said, all good things. I mean, I mean, like he himself has said, all good things should come to an end, and it is, I mean, it is the end of the road for Pujara as a cricketer. Yes, just two more things. His commentary was very in depth, is very in depth. During, I listened to him on BBC's Test Match Special, and everyone in the BBC Test Match Special team praised his commentary. But I would like to see him in a different capacity. Cheteshwar Pujara is someone you don't waste him on cricket commentary. I like to see him going ahead. At least I would like to see him as the batting coach of the Indian cricket team, because all these youngsters, from Shubman Gill to other youngsters, every now and then they turn to him for technical advice.
Bharat, final point I'll give you before we move on to the second part of the show. Sourav Ganguly has taken over as head coach of Pretoria Capitals. People have already started to read a lot in that. So we'll have to address that as part of this show again. And a lot of people have asked us on the show here that does that mean he's not standing for CAB or what is going on? So we'll clarify that. But Bharat, you know, Pujara for a long time, people have said did not have that range of shots, say as a Rishabh or a Rohit or a Virat. And I've always said this, that for every Leo Messi, you need a Jordi Alba. You need, Pujara was that balance in the Indian team. And I think that period of Ravi Shastri's coaching, I when I see Australia 18, I see Australia 21, I see Pujara being India's number 1 batter. and there is nothing to take away from the fact that he was your go-to man. The fact that you beat Australia twice, if there is one man who put his hand up in every game, beating Australia, and Australia only has happened twice in our 78-year-old history, it is thanks to Cheteshwar Pujara. Do we give enough credit to the man, Bharat? Do we celebrate the man enough? Do we give him enough respect? Or is it because Shobik says he's not as big a brand, not as many social media followers? Has India done justice to a Cheteshwar Pujara, Bharat Ramraj?
Yeah, you could say that. See, first of all, maybe flashy players who play a lot more shots, who are a lot more exuberant, they might get a little more, few more followers, rightly or wrongly. And as you noted, social media is quite big now, and in that sense, Pujara is not exactly an extrovert. You don't need to be, but in this day and age of social media, if you really want followers, then you need it. But as a cricketer, obviously he won't care about it. But yes, as a brand, you can say that Pujara perhaps didn't get the kind of recognition that he should have, and he also played in an IPL era. As we know, in the IPL world of IPL, if you go and perform very well in the IPL, then you will be recognized. Maybe there would come a time when, even if I'm not saying Shashank Singh is not a good player, but there could come a time when even if Shashank Singh doesn't play for India, he might get a lot of recognition just because he's performed very well in the world of IPL. So I think that also kind of maybe went against him, but Pujara definitely deserved a lot more credit. As far as performing in Australia is concerned, already been talked about how he played at the Gabba and at the SCG. I was in Dubai in 2020-21, so I had to, because during the COVID time, I was working from there, and I had to tune in to the different channels, because in Dubai, you're never sure you will get to watch. So I had to somehow keep track of it, because obviously I was working for another company. And it was something else, watching Pujara take all the blows from while facing Hazelwood, while facing Pat Cummins. Same in Sydney, or for the matter that knocked at MCG in 2018-19. On a slow pitch, it was not exactly one of those quick Australian pitches, turgid track, tennis ball bounce, and the way he was able to get stuck in there. See, he can play his own game. Pujara can't go and play like someone else, because that won't work for him. What works for him, that's the best for him. And that is how he went on to score all those runs and helped India to win those couple of historic test rubbers. But yes, having said that, definitely doesn't get the recognition that he deserves.
Shubhan, you want to play one of those clips that you have for us? And should I then just go to the other part of Sourav? Yeah.
Your career, आपने continuously, consistently perform किया है, and लोग age के बारे में बात करते हैं, but आप विराट, रोहित, अजिंक्य, आप लोग ऑलमोस्ट सेम जनरेशन के हो, तो क्या आपको थोड़ा सा फ्रस्ट्रेटेड या सैड या डिसअपॉइंटेड लगता है कि पीपल सिंगल यू आउट? क्योंकि देखिए, जब हम लोगों ने मैच हारा है, सबको ही फेल किया. चेतेश्वर पुजारा अकेला रन नहीं बनाया, ऐसा तो हुआ नहीं है. सो अदर्स हैव कंटिन्यूड टू प्ले व्हेन यू हैव नॉट बीन पार्ट ऑफ द टीम. इज दैट डिसअपॉइंटिंग?
Yes, it is disappointing. देखिए, मैं मतलब ऑनेस्टली अगर उसको आंसर करूंगा तो
कंट्रोवर्सी नहीं चाहिए.
हाँ जी, बिल्कुल. और ऑनेस्टी इसीलिए क्योंकि जब आप इंडियन टीम के लिए खेलते हैं और जब टीम को सक्सेस नहीं मिलती है, तो उसका कारण कोई एक प्लेयर कभी नहीं हो सकता. इट्स अ टीम स्पोर्ट, एंड व्हेन यू फेल एज अ यूनिट, यू फेल एज अ टीम. एंड अगर फेलियर टीम को मिला है और उसकी वजह से कोई एक प्लेयर टीम से बाहर जा रहा है, तो वो प्लेयर के लिए, मैं नहीं बट कोई भी प्लेयर हो उस जगह पे, उसको बिल्कुल दुख होगा. बट आई ऑलवेज ट्राई एंड लुक एट द पॉजिटिव, क्योंकि मेरा ये मानना है कि मेरे जो कंट्रोल में है वो चीज़ के ऊपर मैं ज़्यादा फोकस करता हूँ. और इंडियन टीम के लिए मेरा जो कंट्रीब्यूशन अभी तक रहा है वो मेरे लिए काफ़ी इम्पोर्टेंट है, क्योंकि जब भी टीम ने 2018 में ऑस्ट्रेलिया में अच्छा किया, 2020-21 में किया, उसके अलावा इंग्लैंड में जब हमने अच्छा परफॉर्म किया, या तो इवन इंडिया में हमने ऑस्ट्रेलिया या तो अच्छी टीम को हराया है, तभी जो कंट्रीब्यूशन मैंने किया है वो मेरे लिए काफ़ी मायने रखता है. और वो मेरे लिए एक बहुत ही बड़ा मोटिवेटिंग फैक्टर है जब मैं डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट खेलता हूँ या कहीं पर भी क्रिकेट खेलता हूँ. It is always to win a game for your team. You always try and contribute to the team's success. Whether you are playing for, whenever I'm playing for Saurashtra, it is for Saurashtra. When I go overseas and when I was playing for Sussex, it is to ensure that Sussex wins the county championship. So for me, it is about contributing to the team's success wherever I'm playing. And if I, as I said earlier, if I get an opportunity again, then I'll be more than happy to contribute to the team's success.
Yeah, Shomik. Yeah.
Sourav Ganguly always says
Mic ko tule
that
naho.
Sourav Ganguly always says it absolutely doesn't matter how many followers you have on social media or how many brands you have been endorsing. All that matters is that whether you have the respect of the dressing room or not. And today, we had the confirmation from Sachin Tendulkar to Gautam Gambhir, from Virender Sehwag to Michael Vaughan. I mean, Michael Vaughan is from England. All his teammates from Ajinkya Rahane, Suresh Raina, everyone, the way they paid their tribute to this man, Cheteshwar Pujara's career as a cricketer has been fulfilled.
I think it's a fair point. Only thing is Saurav himself has 45 brands, so people will call him something about it. I mean, today also we were discussing that. But yeah, true. I mean, Cheteshwar Pujara. From my house to the next crossing, if you see 271 hoardings during pujas, 195 will be Saurav. And I told him that. I told him that last year during the pujas, and I said, boss, what are you planning to do? Everything is you, other than you and the chief minister, Mamata Banerjee. So he started laughing. He said that you don't think I deserve a few more. So that's sort of for you. But Cheteshwar Pujara, jokes apart, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. We had a great time with him at the conclave. Great guy, really genuine, humble, modest guy, and that's the best part about him. In England, Shubhan and I spent a lot of time. He used to come and sit in the press box and chat with us all the time, and we would have fun. Fantastic fellow, absolutely fantastic fellow. Wish him the best, and I do think there are other careers waiting, whether it is NCA after VVS, whether it is coaching, whether it is something else, whether it is admin. Very calm guy, will do justice to that. Tremendous, absolutely tremendous. Coming to the second part of the show, Shubhan Chakraborty, Sourav Ganguly, head coach of Pretoria. Yes, mentor last year, but mentor and head coach, profound difference. Is it telling you something, or is it just no, JSW owns it, but JSW's part? So Sourav Ganguly, logical. IPL maybe after one more year when Venugopal and Hemang finishes. Once Pat Jindal is back in the saddle, he'll take over again. But are you reading anything into it? Are you reading anything into it in terms of coaching? Is there something that can happen in future? Sourav Ganguly as head coach, does it ring a bell that okay, we can see something in the future? Shubhan Chakraborty.
He was the head coach of Delhi Capitals women's team as well. Last WPL when they were runners up. Uh, I see. I think Sourav Ganguly, the head coach. I think it always rings. It will always ring a bell. You can whenever you hear it, it has a nice tune to it. It has a very nice tune to it. But I don't know in the near future, maybe in the next, because he is contesting the elections. I don't know whether he will be elected without any opposition. I don't know that yet, but he's going to be in the administrative role once again. He's going to be the head coach of Pretoria Capitals. He will continue to be the head coach of Delhi Capitals women's team this year, unless there's a change. So I think he's preparing for the next steps. Maybe he's preparing for the next steps. Maybe you don't know. You don't know after Gautam Gambhir 2027. You don't know, because if Sourav Ganguly applies for the head coach, I don't think there are many people who will say, "Arey, no, he does not deserve it."
Bharat, your thoughts before I go to Shomik?
Yeah, it will be interesting to see with Sourav Ganguly as the head coach because see, when you think of Ganguly, you look at him as a captain. That's the first thing that will come to your mind. Someone who you can say was in control as a captain. So when Sourav Ganguly was the captain, obviously when he was at his peak in terms of his leadership qualities, then coach was kind of the supporting cast. and Ganguly was the man in control. So how would he go about coaching a side where he perhaps has to be in a supporting cast, and not exactly the man who's at the helm of the affairs as a captain? That would be interesting to see from a coaching point of view.
Yeah, Shubhan, Ayush is right. It was Jonathan Batty. I was about to
Right.
say
Mentor. He was the mentor. He was the mentor.
Sourav was the mentor, but that's okay. I mean, I understand where you're coming from. Shomik, are you reading something into this? Remember
with Sor-
remember that famous statement about Ganguly. With Ganguly, nothing is ever clear.
that's exactly what I was about to iterate, in the sense, with Sourav Ganguly you never know. Sourav Ganguly is like Diego Maradona in the final third. You never know what's going to happen next. So anything is possible with this man, and he seamlessly get into whatever he does, he seamlessly gets into that. That's I mean, credit to him, because I mean, he came to CAB administration as the joint secretary in 2014, then become the president, and gave Eden Gardens a facelift. The cover that you see, the world class covers that covers the entire outfield, that is, I mean, after he became the president, the first thing he did, one of the first things he did, it was that the complete overhauling of floodlights, everything, drainage system, total drainage system. These days, earlier, what used to happen, there had been instances against a Ranji Trophy match in Baroda. It rained on the eve of the match, and the entire match got washed out. All 4 days, it just rained on the eve of the match. After Sourabh Ganguly, what happened? The moment the rain stops, the Eden Gardens is ready within 20 to 25 minutes. So that is, he initiated that Vision 2020 program for Bengal cricket. And down the line, we saw Bengal played 2 finals in the Ranji Trophy. So he has done that. He has contributed immensely,
All
not
with
only as a
Mukesh
cricketer.
Kumar, Akashdeep, Shahbaz
Exactly.
Ahmed, all are part of Indian
Absolutely.
midfield.
Even Mohammad Shami, the way he nurtured him, he was on his last legs as a cricketer, as a cricketer in first class cricket. But the way he spotted Shami's talent, and he told the Bengal cricket hierarchy that this guy needs to play. So this is the thing. Sourav Ganguly, nobody, I can confirm, nobody has that eye for talent. He is unmatched. Be it Harbhajan Singh over Charandeep Singh, be it Virendra Sehwag as the opener, be it Yuvraj Singh in the middle, Yuvraj Singh as a match winner. I mean, he is unmatched. But even as an administrator, he contributed immensely during his time. Also, the women's WPL was initiated. Day-night tests happened. So everything combined. Sourabh Ganguly, you got to give him credit. Whatever roles he gets into, he fits into that seamlessly. But once again, he is like Diego Maradona in the final third. You never know what's coming next.
You know, I know the man fairly closely, and I can claim that. So I'll tell you two things about him, and we can close the show on that note. One, a lot of questions have come about. By the way, Bhavik, hypocrisy and irony of media when player is playing run agenda. Ask when you retire, celebrate players. Boss, we don't even give it. Come on, yeah. I mean, Cheteshwar Pujara is one who we have always celebrated as you know. I mean, on our platform, if you come and see, and to call him to our conclave for what? Cheteshwar Pujara is one of his kind. So when you make questions, comments, and I understand why are you guys always salty? Have you not slept well last night, or have you had a fight with your family or something like that? Yeah, come on. I don't think you need to. Don't be so salty. Enjoy it. Sunday afternoon. Have a cup of coffee. If you're in, I don't know which part of the world you are, have Muri Chanachur. Trust me, you'll feel better. Coming to Sourav Ganguly, I'll tell you the first story. This was 2019 World Cup. And Shubham now knows because he has been to that same restaurant 25 times during his trip to Manchester. Sourav and I went to Zia Asian Grill in the evening after India lost to New Zealand. We were both down. I was obviously down. Work, who knows what is happening. Sourav obviously was taking it better because My first thought was, now what story, this story, that story. And we were having an Indian meal. Nobody was there. No formal interview. And he sat me there, and the number one villain of the piece at that point in time was Rishabh Pant. He had played that shot to mid-wicket and gotten out. Now, Sourav and I are having dinner, and he's telling me, I'll tell you something, Boria. This guy will be your best red ball batter in the next 2 years. I said, what? He said, you can take it down from me. And that interview is recorded. He said, this guy will be your next best red ball batter. I said, what are you talking about? There is Virat Kohli, there's Cheteshwar Pujara, there's all of these guys. He said, I'm telling you, this guy in the next few years will be your best red ball player. Forget white ball. We were talking about Rishabh Pant, and he straight away went to test cricket. He said, this chap will be your best red ball player who will win you many games single-handedly in overseas conditions. You mark my words. I'll never forget it. Never in my lifetime forget it, that he just said it. And he was 200% confident when he said that about Rishabh Pant. That's story number one. Story number two. Somebody said, what a turnaround, basically being sarcastic, that from BCCI president to coaching. Ask Sourav Ganguly, or for that matter, any cricketer, anybody. You can be the head of a body, you can be administrator, whatever. A cricketer is always a cricketer and a cricketer. That's where they belong. Ask Sourav. He will say, I still like the fact that I will go to CAB indoor nets and show Abhishek Porel how to bat. I will come and stand with Jhulan Goswami and mentor Bengal's girls. That's how it is. He loves it. Administration is a profession. He wants to be there, power, seat of power, all of that. But love? If anyone goes and says that Sourav Ganguly love administration or everything, he also has to earn his money, and earns his money through his endorsements and all of that. Love is still going out there and doing his coaching, holding the bat, showing how it is done, and that's where he belongs. Make no mistake, he belongs there. I know the guy inside out. And this Pretoria thing, he was hands-on last year. Now he's got the title of head coach. Will he ever become coach of India? Shubhan just kept it open. I think if you actually ask him, he will have the president of CAB role at some point in time, may even come back to the BCCI now with the Sports Act. That is also open. Who knows what the political future holds? No one knows. No one knows. Does he have the time? Yes, he does. Does he have age? Yes, he does. Acumen? Yes, he does. But I will say this with certainty. BCCI president or anything, if Sourav Ganguly is asked hand on heart, where do you want to be? He will say head coach of India. That's where I belong, because that cricket ground, wearing and going and talking to Indian cricketers, that's where he belongs. This time also in Birmingham, Shubhan will remember, he was on his way to the airport coming back to India, and he's calling me, has the rain stopped? Has the rain stopped? Has the match started? And the last, before he boarded the flight, and it's still there on my WhatsApp, and I told him the match is starting at 12:40 local time. And he said, forget that, tell me how many overs. And believe me, I said 80 overs is what India has got. He said, done. I said, what do you mean? He said, India will not need more than 60-65 overs to bowl England out. By the time I land in Dubai, India has won. India needed 55 or 60 overs to bowl England out. The message is there. It's uncanny. As Shomik said, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic stuff. I mean, I don't know, all three of us, yes, we have opportunity. But for our viewers, if you get an opportunity to have a chat with Sourav Ganguly on cricket, just unadulterated cricket chat, trust me, it will be a treat of a lifetime. Absolute treat of a lifetime. Somebody asked us whether we will cover the Badminton World Championships or not. Absolutely. 550, Shi Yuqi versus Lakshya Sen. Satwik Chirag, Gayatri Gopichand, 6 months out. Teresa Jolie having to play with Hari. Indian badminton is not in best shape. The PBL will come back. That's what Sanjay Mishra told me. So hopefully the Badminton Premier League will come back. And this World Championship, I'm not expecting much. But absolutely we will cover. And the bad draw, horrible draw, to face the world number one for Lakshya Sen first round against Shi Yuqi is a bad draw. Satwik Chirag will play Liang and Wang in the quarters, and in the round of 16. And in the progress, it will be Chia So again in the quarters. So very tough. But we will cover everything. For now, celebrate the shooting. Today also, Indians were brilliant. Aishwari Pratap Tomar. We will keep talking cricket. Shubhan, Shaumik, Bharat, as usual, always for joining me. Shubhan, বোধহয় একটা সুপার চ্যাট ছিল, ওটা মিস করে গেছি, ওটা নিয়ে নিবি?
BK made test fire, but Puji made me fall in love with it.
Lovely question. I mean, genuinely serious fan here. So that's anyone else wants to say anything else about Pujara? Shaumik, I'll give you the last words. Chalo.
Nothing more to say. Indian cricket collectively has tipped its hat to the man who was the very name of greed and courage, and that is what Cheteshwar Pujara was all about.
Arvind, where is the Ashes build-up? You will have the Ashes build-up. Gargi will indeed have done the Ashes build-up once she's back from her holiday. Shubhan will be in Australia in October for the white ball series. He will have plenty of Ashes build-up. Don't worry. Today, what Ashes build-up do you want? There will be enough and more Ashes build-up from Australia. When I've said something, it will happen. Don't worry. Bharat Ramraj, Shaumik Chakraborty, Shubhan Chakraborty, always a pleasure. Cheteshwar Pujara stays a legend. Want him to enrich Indian cricket in more ways than one going forward. Wish him and his wife all the very best and best to the family. Thanks for watching.